Welcome back to Tracking That, a channel where we try to track what liberals are saying but end up not being able to as usual. So Biden's resignation letter didn't even have an official letterhead on it, so it's being alleged that counselor to Biden, Steve Ricchetti, wrote it for him and the signature is forged, but there's really no surprise here. So Biden was bullied to resign and now we are left with possibly the worst presidential candidate of all time, word salad Kamala Harris. So now it's time for her to be exposed for exactly who she is. In previous videos, you know she slept her way to the top and has no actual talent. But now we have RFK Jr. absolutely annihilating her. The Democrats made a terrible mistake not nominating him. Take a listen.
You mentioned Kamala Harris is who you said that the Democratic Party appeared poised to put into that position. You were critical there, obviously, of President Biden's policy. What, if anything, is different? How do you compare yourself to Kamala Harris if she does become the Democratic nominee for president?
Well, I think, Kamala Harris is the party of war. She's a war hawk. The Democratic Party was always the peace party. Kamala Harris is a war hawk on Ukraine. She's a war hawk on China. I think that we should be figuring out ways to coexist with the rest of the world as best we can. Of course, we need to protect our national security. I think she's not going to do anything about the national deficit. I've never heard her speak about the chronic disease epidemic, I think she's a product of the corporate control of our democracy. And she's one of the authors of, in terms of civil rights, she has one of the worst civil rights record of any public official. She's the author of one of the primary authors of the school to prison pipeline. She kept 5,000 people, despite a Supreme Court order that she released 5,000 prisoners of nonviolent drug crimes who were illegally in California jails. She kept them in there saying that we needed them for firefighting and for other public work services. And that's just a modern version of indentured servitude, a modern version of slavery. She was one of the two leading public officials in California, which now has the worst education system, 49th in education outcomes in the country. 50% of the homeless people in our country are in California, and she was behind those policies. I don't think she has a good, I don't think, in terms of the traditional democratic principles, I don't think she has a credible record.
She kept black people for prison work. Her slogan should be, let's make slavery great again. That's why Tulsi Gabbard was able to toss her out of the presidential race back in 2020. That's the biggest crime you can make as a Democrat. Imprison black people unjustly for non-violent drug offenses. She's not going to be able to BS her way out of this one. Last time she said she was proud of her prosecution record when confronted with her record. To wrap this video up, clips like this are exactly why they call her Cringe Kamala, and she tries way too hard to please certain groups, and it's so embarrassing.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And